long time ago. There was a bunch of happy rabbits. Every day they enjoy a meal of carrot that grew from the earth. One day they discovered the carrots bathed in a... Oh my god, that typed so fast. Hold on. Wouldn't it be great if we could eat these extra sweet carrot all the time? Why don't we just keep the moon with us then? How would we do that? Hold her back. Hold her back. Grab a rope. Let's pull the moon back. Eager to taste the sweetest carrot ever, the rabbit worked together, twisted, and waving the carrot leaves until they made a long, long rope. Hey-ya, hey-ya! They finally grabbed a hold of the moon. Using their combined might, the rabbit tried to hide the hardest to tie down for the moon in the sky. Well, we will soon get our bellies full. We will soon get our bellies full, the rabbit cheered and chanted. Did they actually get what they hoped for the end? Well, New Divine, Chapter 19. It's been a while since Grey Raven returned to Babylon with the survivor, the doctor from the Star of Life, said you started sleeping since Liv reversed to eclipse frame, so you have no idea how much time has passed. You were simply heavy infected when you were retrieved Liv's mind shards, so much that despite getting her back, you fell unconscious while she changed her frame. You suffered a deadly conscious. I know you're remarkable awake. I know you're miracle awake, but the truth is, I wasn't expecting you to wake up at all. Making comprehensive note on your report, the Star of Life. Doctor frowned as she goes on through records. Your mind beacon is still slightly corrupted, and your body is still covered in all injuries. So you're not leaving until I say otherwise. Stay in the rehabilitation room instead of going on the mission, if possible. I'll say alright. Also, don't walk around your own just because you're feeling a bit better. You hear me? Hippocraft. Oh, she's really pretty. Hope she's fine. You feel a urge of embarrassment of the doctor department with distrustful gaze. A feminine voice speaks beside you. You heard the doc. Get some rest, Chief. Just ask me if you need something. Simon closed the book he is reading and turned to look at you with kindness. He is similarly covered in injuries, but he looks well. You look pretty lively today, Simon. Yeah, they're probably discharging me tomorrow after the inspection day. HQ told me that they assist dark Aries with a new member after I'm ready. Simon is not admin, admin as other soldiers, and there doesn't not seem to be a reason he must stay in the army. After the excruciating battle, no one would bet an eye if he applies for early retirement. Ha! Haha. I suppose someone like me who always got last place doesn't make me the most reliable commander, does it? I mean, I didn't mean that. Smiling with a hint of embarrassment, Simon fiddles with his book before relieving, relieving a resolute gaze you never seen. This is a textbook from FOS College. I never really read through it back in the school, which would explain my grade. But if I can start learning new tactics and consider new perspective, perhaps I'll say a lot more live in the future, just like you guys did, Chief. You will, Simon. Yeah, thank you. Right, didn't you say I could ask you if I need something? Of course. What do you need? Are you sure this is fine? The doctor told you not to walk around. You wrapped your arm around Simon's shoulder, walking along a cornered in the Star of Life Medical Center while your whole body is in pain. She said not to walk around on my own. That's why you're the chief. You're very clever twisted her words, but I'm still convinced. Lucia and Lee's frame were heavily damaged after the battle, their minds showing signs of infection, still repairing and examined. They have since recovered and started going on a mission with other squads. You worry most of Liv. She switched to the specialized frame without a command to stable her mind. Now the damage has put her in a coma, her treatment marred by unknown qualities of her new frame. We're here, Chief. Stop before an ICU ward. You look through its thick glass window and see Liv surrounded by a lot of medicine device. Liv saved everyone back there. I'm sure she'll be fine. Without her risking her life, no one have survived that encounter. Not Lucia, Lee, or even the entire human race. Not to mention this moment of despite she has given you all. But the girl who saved the world is now slumbering here, and the only thing anyone can do is pray. Aww. Liv, you probably felt the same when you were in coma, Chief. Her condition will not get any better with you staying by her side and doing nothing. Those who can still contribute should act. Let's go back. Alright, you still have a physical therapy this afternoon. The doctors are going to be mad if you missed it again. Simon suddenly stopped, recalling something. By the way, Chief, do you know the construction from the engineer force named Karenina? Oh, hello. Mm, oh, who's this pink dude? Norman? I'm sorry, Mr. Free Setif from the North Crow. Leandro Norman, but Norman will do. The name the name people know after all. Norman Mincrop controlled almost every mining operation on the surface back in the Golden Age. After Babylon retreated to the space, it gave up its operation on Earth and turned its gaze towards the moon. The rich helium-3 reverse on the moon is what power Babylon every day. It is even used to trade for ascensions with Earthbound organizations like ACA. On the other hand, Norman's Mincrop's comprehensive knowledge of the surface also make it an important partner of the WGAA. Councilman Norman, this is a very important meeting. We don't need you to tell us a bedtime story here. Come on, everyone's so serious right now. I thought I'll lighten the mood. No? The other council members sighed and sneered, not worrying that Norman can hear them. But Norman does not react. He seemed to be familiar with his kind of response. Norman Mincrops has never been interested in politics, but they never seen the infamous preserved eldest son of the family to this council meeting for some reason. Nicola sighed while Hashi nodded across his arm, intrigued. I think that's what it's not bad. So, did the rabbit pull the moon back in the end? Oh well, they were rabbits. One day, of course. They couldn't pull off a stunt like that. That would be ridiculous. Unlike the part where they grabbed a hold of the moon with the rope, Norman ignores Nicola's interruption and continued chuckling. But then the sweet carrot were all the rabbits could think about, so they wouldn't let go of their rope. Eventually, the moon pulled them away, and the rabbits end up on the surface of the moon, never to return. So what? The rabbit wouldn't worry about that, obviously. They honestly thought the moon was theirs. They're cheerily Trump-filing after all. They were just a bunch of happy rabbits. Are you suggesting the humans are those dumb rabbits? No, no. This is just a popular fairy tale where I come from. And I didn't think of rabbits was stupid either. Norman bowed elegantly, his antiquated clash with his flamboyant outfit. Cool story, Council Norman. Yeah, you know my sisters always call me a good storyteller. Hashi politely smiled before turning back to the spatial Parliament Hall and nodded, and the annoying council member gradually quieted down. This has been a very intense meeting, so thank you, Councilman Norman, for the brief assessment. But I'm afraid we must return to the matter of hand. How we are going to save humanity from our biggest threat yet. The hollow screen in the hall displayed destruction caused by the global maturity of the heron creatures. Is it heron? Yeah, heron creatures. Although we finally found ourselves possessing a weapon that can counter the twins and the large scale of punishing by infections, with a new specified frame deployed, earning us a difficult victories. But development of specialized frame continue to be riddled with problems. The research of how to stabilize them in particular will be our key to recalling the Earth in the future. Nikolai and Hans exchanged a look, and Hans continued. This is catastrophic, has greatly impaired the task of force member deployed to the surface. Some team never returned. Confronted the unexpected calamity, they chose to stand and fight on the front line for humanity, buying us the time to plan and strategize right now. All the council members remained silent. Some looked upset, probably suffering from loss, while some looked terrified, fearing that the coming war will cost them everything they have. I meant all of them. One person raised his hand and stood up. He's a member of the deployment count, Colonel, one of the Collins. Hassian and Nicola exchanged a look, frowning slightly. Hassian gently to the men. Oh, generous to the men. Councilman Liston from the deployment court, the floor is yours. Liston nodded before entering some data on the screen next to him, projecting them onto the hollow screen. According to the information of militaries has published, our task force, when compared with the data of previous battles, is spending way below what is acceptable. Given the current strength, dare I say that the task force can't even guard Babylon against evolution of hentro creatures, destroying them on the meaningful scales and recalling the conversation area in a pipe of dreams. Liston paused, his gaze sweeping across the hall. And he's getting defensive, silently flood the room. I have no intention to blame the military commands or our task force. But even with the expedition service, our fight against punishing rivals is still resulting in the heavy loss. Indeed, the battles are much crueler than these numbers. Construction and the commanders were performing their duty to recall the Earth when they met their ill-fated ends, combining enemies beyond our understanding. Their glorious worry, are they not? The children of Earth, just like us, are they not? They have every right to share the humanity's futures. Are you suggesting giving up on recalling the Earth? Are you going to let their sacrificing be vain? Looking into Liz's eyes intensely, Nicole had a feeling that this man must have a card up his sleeve. He would not have intact the council member otherwise. I don't object to recall the Earth. It is our past, our future, even. But we must ask ourselves, Is it time for us to conserve another path? If we stop fighting and let the punishing virus spread, the people will suffer and the Babylon won't remain unscratched. We can't be sure that fully evolved heteron creatures corrupted wouldn't destroy this ark. Don't forget, the Babylon was created as a superluminant colon ship. It's a ship that meant to be sailed towards the sun, not the ark to survive a flood. Nicola chuckled. If that is Liston's card, he might be a little too naive. Since you didn't forget, I'm sure you all recall that Babylons can only run on regular fuel right now. The zero-point engine designed to power Babylons originally was the reason this cyclops apocalypse started. What if? Liston's dreadful noise followed Nicola's words like a cobra's catching its prey. What if I tell you that utilizing of zero-point energy is no longer a dream? Asking a brief silence, the room exploded with questions. All the council members are stunned by Lisbon's words, eager to know more about the things he said a zero-point energy. As you all know, during a not-so-secret military operation, the Grey Raven Command retrieved a file of Atlas, the zero-point research city. Listen changed the display of content of a holoscreen into the Omega file, the data which Atlas researchers trade their lives. This is an incredible value file. It's shown us that under specific conditions, running a zero-point reactor can create a field that absorbs the punishing virus. That's how we managed to create the specialized frame with the Omega weapon that defeats the twins. The new specialized frame was what the cause of the military to work with Kurono. Exactly. However, those noble research have perhaps left us even more specific insight. Nodded Listen turned to next page of his presentation. During their research, they tried to recreate the process of how the zero-point reactor created the punishing virus. They document the experiment, hoping to leave a valuable detail. While they never saw the virus manifest, those researchers still prevent the Omega file along all the data from running their zero-point reactor. He has also realized what Lisbon is suggesting, which means that in a way they discovered how to regenerate zero-point energy without causing the punishing virus outbreak. Indeed, this will be a basic for restarting the zero-point react. The last torch of humanity future is burning 363,300 kilometers from the Earth now, right there on the moon. All the council members gasped. Almost all of them turned towards the moon, that is seemingly just outside their grasp, to test how zero-point energy would perform under low gravity in a space. Babylon's zero-point react and the malfunction of its engine was sent to the pollution lab on the moon during Babylonian production. Upon discovering the connection between zero-point reactor and the punishing virus, the reactor and the Luma base that has been discarded, now managed by Norman the Mincrop, the Luna Mining Company. Hmm, is that why Norman's eldest has been invited to this meeting? Notice Nicole pierced the gaze. Norman, who is playing with the stitch of the monitor before him, waves and smiles of Nicola. With the Norman's mining corp generous assistant, we had a last chance to test our theory, and our test has shown the most promising result. The project shifted once again, displaying a list of data and a photo of a dazzling blue light, the signature optimized effect when a zero-point energy is generated. Our test finds the lunar reactor runs only at 45.37% of its theoretical capacity when replicate the data from Atlantic reactor. But that's enough for the sustain Babylon's current operation and a future voyage. The most important thing is that has been no signs of punishing virus at our test site, which means we can attract the zero-point engine to Babylon and use its almost limitless engine to turn Babylon's back into Colin's ship as we set sail for the stars away from Earth. This means the punishing virus infected planet and its myriad of danger will no longer concern Babylon. Humanity will begin anew, which is undoubtedly a very temptation proportion given the current situation. Only if your data is reliable. Even the Norman Mining Corp doesn't possess research experience with a zero-point reactor and calling ship. I have every right to doubt the legitimacy of this report. Nicole might have called Norman's Mining Corp researcher, but he knows very well it must have Colonel's scientists on the lunar surface right now. Our research aren't the only ones. We only managed to restarted this project because we received assistance from the expert of Babylon's and zero-point energy. Commander Nicola must know our expert very well. Only now does Nicola realize he always thought that he was the one who's using Colonel, but he was never aware Colonel was using him as well. Karenina. Indeed, Karina from the Engine Force might be the most knowledgeable person as Babylon decides, and despite the study of zero-point energy having stopped for years, she remains one of its leading researchers. More importantly, Karina is a member of Babylon. Her position is beyond of repro. Well, I believe the idea is relaunching Babylon Voyage is convincing enough for a proposition then, President Hashin. Hashin nodded as he looked around the parliament, I think. Well, begins our vote of Councilman Liston's proposal. Without much discussion, as an overwhelming majority has voted to reset the zero-point reactor and leaves the ever-growing threats of the surface. turning humanity gaze towards the unknown stars. I also voted yes, but as the head of the court control court, I should remind you that you have you have overstepped your role as a member of diplomatic court by plotting the secret scheme of yours. This will be consequentive. Lester nodded, his gaze moved past Hida onto Hashin, showing no sign of fear. Of course, I accept any punishment. 98.5% are in favor of Council List's proposal, 0% has opposed, and 1.5% have abstained. The support rate is higher than the minimum requirement this proposal has passed. In that case, I hereby announce that at the moment the firm has suddenly received an emergency commission request from Celia. Hassan hesitated for a few seconds before deciding to answer the call. Lieutenant Hassan, we just received an urgent message from Lunar Base. Our intelligence assistant believes it requires immediate response. Who sent it? Karenina. From frowning, Hassan looks at Liston, but he cannot drive anything from Liston's expressionless face. Play it. So you just switch the feed and project screen in the parliament relieves a blur figure whose voice unmistakably Karina. Infections, must, danger the surface. So I must destroy the 0-point engine right now. Oh, okay. Well, okay, let's the next one. About 3 months ago, a week after the twins appeared in the Paluna Forest Park ruins. Looking down the Babylon, the threat from flying hetero creatures is ever present. Looking. Oh, okay, missed that one. Babylon has paid a heavy price trying to reestablish the nightmare of route between itself and the surface, but no ace plot has expected to get past enemies that would not hesitate to throw their lives away. Even the arrival of a screw or can of food will help the surface greatly against this living hell, but the dream of the many rescue pilots ultimately falls amidst the blue sky they once saw. This is no longer the issue of the pilot's skills. The engine of the Babylon must provide a new solution as soon as possible. Crap! The engine should be putting out 150% power according to spec. Why is the speed increase almost neglectable right now? As the Science Council in charge of creating the Omega weapon, the task of creating a new aircraft engine that can counter the flying hetero creatures has been given to Engineering Force. With her background as a member of the Cosmo Techno Karina is experienced in research and development in the engine and power sector, making her the best person for the job. Hey, new guy, show me the record of the previous setup. Actually, I joined the engineering force 2 years ago. Oh, is that so? Why do I feel like I never seen you before? Forget it. It doesn't matter. Just get me the SEB record right now. Actually, it was a vice captain who. Don't bother. Don't bother looking. I told them to swap the outrageous part in your design with standing one, of course, outputting has dropped. Hold on a second, be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay. Uh, where was I? A quiet voice speaking announced the role of the computer that sit in the corner of the Delman's workshop. T. Ed. What the hell? Karina screams at where the voice came from, startled everyone in the workshop, but they quickly shrugged and returned to work with the expression of, here we go again. Can you comprehend how many lives we lost on the surface for every minute we delayed? Karina pushed away as a wall of monitors before yanking the headphone off the girls hidden behind them, the one she called Teddy. Don't forget the value of life, isn't it? We might not say it as much as you do, but every one of us know why we are working around the clock. We know the stake. Then explain why you replace those parts. The reason is simple. I don't want to die. Unruffled, Teddy entered a series of codes before pointing at the monitor in front of Karina. If we build it according to your design and having the engine runs at maximum capacity at all time, the smallest error during assembly will result in a hole of Babylon, one as big as your head. Karina turns the monitor back towards Teddy and point at the numbers vehemently. Is that it? Then don't screw up during assembly. Maybe you can modify and assemble the parts with the level of accuracy, but I'm afraid you won't find another daredevil as reckless as you are. And we don't have time to design an automatic assembly plant. The HQ tasked us to build as a transfer craft, not high-speed coffin that goes up in flames and become expensive fireworks display. Ugh. Karina cannot refund Teddy's word right this moment. And, and this engine is too costly. Excuse me? Costly? Who give a damn at the times like this? It's one thing that it cost a lot of money. What's worse is that it's cost 3 times more power than the engine on our current transport craft to run. Don't don't let transport craft need to return after they land on surface. Not to mention Babylons can't supply us with additional energy for the extra trip back and forth to Earth outside what they usually do. If only we had time to optimize the power of the consumers. Not that I have a better altercation, unless we can somehow get a resource with unlimited powers. 0 point energy, is it? It'll be great if humans actually had it in their hands. If they could obtain this almost endless power source, they would drastically change the state of the world. Irony, 0 point retractors were cause of the punishing virus outbreak. Karina turned around and stared at the tactician strategist interfere on the Earth's state. The people down there do not even have a lecture to worry. Ugh, how annoying! Stop dreaming about your fantasy fuel and start figuring out how to lower the power consumption. Don't jump to conclusion, lassie. Your fantasy might not be out of reach as you imagine. Karina turned around to find a grinning vulgar man barging and injecting. Hey, who the hell are you, creep? This is the Engineering Force workshop. We don't allow visitors. What the? We're not your responsibility if you're hurt yourself. Ha! How inquisitive. Not that your workshop has worked out anything, has it? What? What did you say? Karina, behind him. Teddy pointed out the man. Only then Karina noticed that behind him are Hashin and Nicola. Presenting Hashin, Hashin commander. All I can say is that we haven't made any significant progress on a new engine. Yeah, if you want to update. Nah, no one cares about some absolutely transport craft engine. What we read right now is Revolution weapon. Karina restrained herself and ignored the blabber man, questioned Hashina and Nicole with a glaze. My apologies, but this is Colin. He is currently the military, um, the seemingly reduction Hashim meets Nicole eye before clearing his throat continuously. Kind of consulted, let's put it like that. We have a very important project we need to discuss with you. Take a break, the rest of you. Teddy glanced at Karina and sighed, probably thinking that Karina has gotten into trouble again. She then leads the rest of the team out of the workshop. Alright, alrighty, then let's not dally around. What I need, lassie, you. My name is Karina. Oh, how rude of me. Well, Karen, you must have heard of what the Grave Raven commander brought back from Atlantis Research Center, right? The Omega file? Hearing the term, Karina's eye narrowed. She had no idea why the unremarkable man before her is one of the few people with the access to this high classified information. Hashin and Nicola were very clever about how confident the Omega file must remain. When they first inform her about it, tasking her to assist, the Science Council is testing their theories. So, do you know about it? Haha, not very good liar, aren't you? She's cussing. I ain't saying that. Nicola barely managed to hold the furious Karina back, even though he does wish to see her giving Colin a beating. I'll explain. The Science Council has successfully developed a prototype for the Omega's weapon, but that is mostly they can do. To protect it, we need to employ a zero-point researcher. And only function 0 reactor we possess. We proceed. There's no way to reach Earth right now, not to mention finding running a zero reactor on the surface to make a mega weapon. But Earth is not the only place with a zero reactor. The reactor is in Lunar Base. It could work. But it's been closed forever since the outbreak, and no one has slightly clue what's going on there. It is why we desperately need someone with technical experience in zero-point reactor to restart it. So now you're knocking our door. What a plan. Oh, she's a sass girl. Colin grins and sit on a random machine too, unconcerned with the dust and oil stain. This is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity for any research in the engine field. You might ever have your name forever. Remember the humanity history. Karina knows that just because you remember doesn't mean you are the remember fondly. She learned it from her great grandfather. Hmm, I'm not interested. Find another dumb idiots to listen to your bullcrap. How about this bullcrap? I mean, let's put it another way. Do you think it's a good idea to ask some random team instead of engineering force to restart a zero-point reactor? Karina is certain that there is no one in Babylon, not even someone from the Science Council, who is more experienced than her in her field for this job. She is confident and proud of that fact. That's not pursuing, creep. That's a threat. Karina stays silent for once before turning towards Hashin. President Hashin, can the Omega weapon really beat the crap out of that stupid punishing virus? From what is word, it's only our hope. When the surface was rearranged by the punishing virus, Babylon was humanity's hope was sheltered. When the corruption destroyed the defense of the earth, construction were humanity's hope for fighting chance. And now development of the Omega weapon is humanity's hope for fighting back against this living hell. Can Karina really afford to sit this out? I see. The engine force will take this job with two conditions. First of all, the people that stay behind will keep working on the new transport craft engine. The things they will make will come in handy, I'm sure. Second, Karina paused, then named her request. Teddy stepped outside the workshop. He had no idea how long she last left the place, hoping to taking a break. She instead ran into someone unexpected. Hello there, it's been a while. Confronted by enthusiastic Norman, Teddy pretended not to see him. She just sit on the floor before opening her portable terminal and continues to work on her code. Norman, in turn to smiling and walks to her side, looking at the work curiously. Is this where you work now? How is it? Christina, happy with your job? Hearing that name, Teddy frowned and stopped typing. There's no Christina here. If you still have a brain, you'll remember that my name is Teddy, Mr. Norman. Can't fault your brother for calling you how he always called you. Old habits die hard. Teddy's still staring at the screen, but her mind is elsewhere. You. Why would you go back to the Norman's family? Probably for the incomparable inheritance, I suppose. Ha! Is that so? Congratulations! Then, I guess you're only here with us dirty and grimy folk for some family business, aren't you? Bingo! What do you know? I always said my sister is way smarter than me. Teddy sneered, her face quickly, reservedly to expressionly once again, her fingering darting across the keyboard on the terminal. Victoria, is she well? Of course, at least better than you and I with our dirty work. Looking at the stain of her sleeve, Teddy glimpsed at Norman's stylish outfit and smiled. But she's thrown a fit every time she sees me, asking for her sister to play with her. All I can do is tell her sister is working right now, and she'll be back once she's free. Whoa, you're a really piece of garbage, aren't you? How dare you lie to a child? Norman laughed dramatically, seemingly unbothered by her insult. You haven't answered me yet. Teddy, are you happy with your job? Teddy seems a little surprised, but she's answered after a while. It's fine, not screaming around like you in yours. Good. Norman smiled gently. Unlike before, once his smiles fade, Norman's mumbling quietly. That's good. Right, let me close my window. Okay, I'm back. Let's go. The moon's closest celestial body to the Earth. Back when humans are still unfamiliarized with the world, the moon channeled all their wildest story of night. Some people thought it was a home of gods who observe human from afar. Time changed, but the clarity of the moonlight was unchanging. It was not until the first human footprint was left on the moon did the age of the story of the myth for the Silver Night declare in the beginning of humanity's golden age. It's been a week since Karina and Ted accepted the job and arrived at the lunar base. After completing the Omega prototype, Karina begins to work on a new project. Mind capacity test completed. Frame stable rate. Hey, try not to move your right arm like this. Yep, all good. Now, the reading of the base stat of this frame have all exist a regular frame. Just what kind of tech did that guy use in the base model he provided? Hey, Missy, can I get out now? 1 second. I need to read and record a declare. A what now? A declare that say I was forced to help you calibrate your frame, and I'm in no responsible if your frame explode. The technically unique cannot hold me accountable if you were killed in a line of duty. F you! Effing hell! Go to hell! Passionately, Karina pulled off the cable on her body and jumped up, stretching her limbs and moving a joint. The frame is indeed performs nicely. Mobility, exploration, balance, all better than what I requested. They modified the frame based on request. Didn't they? Why would you surprised? I designed the change, but the creep provide the base model of the frame. This is why we can complete it so quickly. Are we sure about the creep and the people in the lunar base? Although she was following Karina's to the moon, Ted clearly distraught Colleen. Not really, but doesn't affect our work. As long as we can help the people on the surface, we'll do what it takes. Karina swings her transferring blaster hammer, her weapon of choice, while Teddy watched from the side. So it's cool, isn't it? Yeah, it suits you. Karina was not expecting to hear Teddy compliment her. She feels like a little self-conscious. I designed it, after all. Not only does it pack a punch, but it can also adapt in different battles. A weapon that doesn't require carefully maneuver really fit a dumb people who only knows how to hold the trigger down. God. Hey, are you interested in helping me to test my weapon? I need a target. You little crap. Right, as the two are about to strangle each other in the middle of each man in the research grab entry the preparation room. He looked very awkward, crouching as he comes in. We actually prepared something for you to test the new frame. You don't have to get your own target. The miserable looking man is Yahad. He said to be researching direct of this lunar base, but his obsessive attitude appears otherwise. Director Yahan, we were just kidding. I was kidding too. Right before the discomfort boils over, Teddy signs and stand up from behind the calibration terminal. Is the testing for a new frame about to begin? Can you take us there, Director? Correction, this way please. But I'm really kidding. Yeah, we know. The two of them follow Yaha, leaving the preparation room and heading towards the testing area. Meanwhile, two men quietly start talking on the other side of the room. Is it the frame, the second request from the girl? Why would you provide her with the frame was developed as a base model? We spent so much effort to revise engineer it from her. Liz, you're being silly now. Don't be stingy with your bait if you want to catch a big fish. The fishman is in Antarctic told me that back when I was posted there, the more expensive bait, the bigger the fish. Patting Liston on the back, Colin starts walking towards the testing area, but he stops with some parting words before going further. Don't disagree, ancient wisdom, do you? Watching Colin department figures, Liston tighten his tie. Of course, I'll remember that. Okay.
あいつがターゲットか。先陣を切らせてもらうぞ。
Ooh, crap. Voice command input. Amen. Start video. Recording. Oh, no. Wait, that's too far. Come closer. Stop. That's good enough. Ugh, this is why AI is so stupid. Activate battle simulators. Right now, we need to test the frame under pressure conditions. Wait. I love this Oshu song. Assist you with the remote debug if you are ready. Just give me a shout. Okay then, frame engines, step to stage 1. Food should be eaten one by time, taking care one waste at a time. Let's start with the basic performance.
Oi, 気をつけろ。
Yikes.
Oi, 気をつけろ。Oi, 気をつけろ。Oi, 気をつけろ。
Okay. What are we doing?
バースト無駄な抵抗だ。クズめ食らえ。バーストスラッシャー転換。クズめ食らえ。おい気をつけろ。おい気をつけろ。無駄な抵抗だ。おい気をつけろ。おい気をつけろ。クズめ食らえ。バーストスラッシャー転換。クズめ食らえ。バーストスラッシャー転換。無駄な抵抗だ。クズめ食らえ。
I knew there was going some hiccup during the design phase, but I wasn't expecting debunking to go well the first time. Look like we need to strike while the iron's hot. Come on, Droid. Little time to try out this frame new power. The manifold function found it. Testing system upgrade. Overclocking model able. Found by intentional maximum. Setting the frame engine to stage 4.
おい気をつけろ。バーストスラッシャー転換。無駄な抵抗だ。クズめバーストスラッシャー転換。バーストスラッシャー転換。無駄クズめ食らえ。バーストスラッシャー転換。無駄な抵抗だ。クズめ食らえ。バーストスラッシャー転換。 気をつけろ。クズメバーストスラッシャー。無駄な抵抗だ。クズメ食らえ。バーストスラッシュ。クズメ食らえ。おい気をつけろ。バーストスラッシャー。クズメ食らえ。バーストスラッシャー。変化。クズメ食らえ。バーストスラッシャー。変化。無駄な抵抗だ。クズメ食らえ。無駄な抵抗だ。バーストスラッシャー。変化。無駄な抵抗だ。
What using such powerful moves in general like this for what? I can't hear you, you know? You're going to learn to do something.
どこ見てんだよ。全部消え失せろ。クズメ無駄な抵抗だ。おい気をつけろ。クズメバーストスラッシャー。おい気をつけろ。おい気をつけろ。バーストスラッシャー。変化。無駄な抵抗だ。クズメ食らえ。バーストスラッシャー。変化。無駄な抵抗だ。クズメ食らえ。無駄な抵抗だ。クズメ食らえ。おい気をつけろ。バーストクズメ無駄な抵抗だ。無駄な抵抗だ。どこ見てんだよ。全部消え失せろ。おい気をつけろ。おい気をつけろ。おい気をつけろ。バーストクズメ食らえ。無駄な抵抗だ。クズメ食らえ。バーストスラッシャー。変化。どこ見てんだよ。全部消え失せろ。バーストクズメ無駄な抵抗だ。バーストスラッシャー。クズメ食らえ。おい気をつけろ。おい気をつけろ。どこ見てんだよ。全部消え失せろ。どこ見てんだよ。全部消え失せろ。大したことねえ。別に褒められるようなことじゃ。えふん。
Sorry again. Okay, so I'm back. No, wait, let me check again my thing. The tests of the new frame are over quickly. The new frame Citadel has been proved to operative adaptably in a low gravity. Good job! The results are better than what we expected, Karina. Is it over already? I was just getting started. Enough. Are you planning to break the moon apart? What do you say, Karin? The frame is doing alright, isn't he? Karina gives Colin a sidelong glance, loathing to answer the man walking towards her with his arm in extent. It's you again. You certainly look like you got nothing to do. Ah, my look can deceiving. You have no idea how much I care about this frame performance. I don't know how you did it, but it certainly performed better than other regular models. Construction tech hasn't stopped advancing after all. The field has been expanding like a bread dough, rising ever since your grandfather, Dr. Calhoun, established its foundation. Karen is surprised to hear that her father's name from Colin. Hey, do you know Grandpa? Karina's grandfather never told her about his past. She only learned about some of it through Verity documents and files. But she has feeling that some key information has been scrapped from each of these files, as if somebody has been intentionally hidden Colin's past. So Dr. Carlone didn't tell his granddaughter anything for real. What a madman, wasting this generous brain of his. Everyone is slumped when Karina grew up treating like an odd behavior Carlos as a madman, but never seemed to be a mad. Don't forget the value of life. I also heard him saying that quite a lot. As a researcher of a construction experiment, he was certainly an odd fellow even before he went cuckoo. But then was previous why he was the one of the few people I respect. How nice it'll be if he was still with us. Colin looks like he's about to cry before suddenly smacking his forehead excitedly as if he's recalled something. Right? Let me show you Dr. Cull's lab. Mr. Colin, the lab. Colin waved his hand and stopped hurrying from continuing. Grandpa, we're here on lunar base? Ha! Rather over half of this lunar base was built from Dr. Kowloon and his construction experiment. Listen quietly remains Colin how dangerous he's acting. Are you sure about telling them our biggest secret? This can mess up all our plans. It's fine. The cat will be out of bag sooner or later if we wish were to come true. If they can help us unlock the mystery treasure trove quickly, nothing else, madam. Colin started to move around, moving without waiting for anyone. Karina hesitated for 1 second before decided to follow, only to find a Teddy holding into her wrist. Hey, don't you find these people suspect? Suspect as hell, but I think it's true that they know something about Grandpa that even Babylon doesn't know. Not that I care about his past, but I guess I couldn't stay away from any opportunity to know about him. He was the only family after all. I don't expect a rich girl from a big family like you to understand. Family. Forget it. I'll come with you. Teddy shaking her head and followed colleagues alongside Karina. Colin leads the two of them through several security checkpoints under carefully suspicion. Each checkpoint is guarded by few construction soldiers without squad designation. That's a lot of guard for one laboratory. Ha! Well, we have a baby angel in there. We can afford to let those. Not that these folks can do much if she does intend to go. Polly does not explain further. After going through a last checkpoints, he's opened the door to the construction laboratory. The dark environment almost devoured whatever light comes through the door. From the outside, leaving the ghostly blue light, it intimidated by the device in the center of the room, the only thing glowing. Hey, isn't the Omega's prototype we made? It is the Mega Omega weapon required a 0 point reactor to keep running several times. The size of its original design, it will be built to test and observe the particularly of a mega weapon. As the blue light flashing, they seemed to pale a young girl inside bounded. She looked to be at peace as if she sleep. Luna? Oh, wow. Eh? What the heck is Luna doing here? She the first ascension human known about. The culprit of Babylon never falls on the first ascendant to approach the human direct. Luna. Almost instantly, Karina take out her weapon and aim at Luna, but she is surprised to find all the guarding construction soldiers pointing their guns at her. What? What are you doing? Do you know what that is? Colleague casually generates to surround the soldiers with bullcrap! Get out of my way! She's an essential and an enemy! Sure, essential. Sense. Collins grinned, the turning around, staring Karina fiercely. Man, I skipped all the other ones. Thanks for I dropped my control. But construction can also take lives, and so can the hammer you wield. As ascended aren't necessarily humanity's enemy. Unlike being weak, isn't that why we armed ourselves with science, changing the world? When the day we unlock the secrets of ancestry comes, granting us the power of ancestral network, those beings that once threatened humanity's existence will turn into the light that guard us evolution. Colin flicked his hand, and all the lights in the laboratory focus on where he stands. Like how it's witnessed the development of construction, this moon will witness the second time of humanity evolves. The moment we become sentient, turning humans into sentient. Did you hurt your head? I was there when Luna was born. I know what happened in Cities 075. What she did was akin to sacrifice herself. Doesn't that prove that human and ascendant aren't really that different? Internal life, ultimate power. We don't need to fear the punishing virus anymore. It will be our to command. Of course, the ideal outcome right now, all we can do is to use this mega omega weapon as insurance when we awake Luna and ask her about what we couldn't find the technology means, the secret of ascent. Colin might be mad, but he's not a fool. His Granos mission is not built on the shaking foundation. Even if Luna wants to escape, this cage can absorb the punishing virus to cripple or even kill her. But without 0 point energy, this cage is nothing but a pretty vessel, boss. That's why you need us to reset the 0 point reactor clearly. This is what you're truly after, but there's no way a farmer would prove it. Who the hell are you guys? Colin laughed wildly and slowly walked towards the center of the laboratory. We're the oldest man-land in human history. You might have heard of the name we use to call ourselves Kurono. 27. So let's keep going. Zero point energy was one's ultimate version of the future from the people in the Golden Age. Everyone knew about it, everyone was staring at it. However, the development of zero point energy was always a mystery. The only foundation of all its research was that exists. Even expert the energy sector could only start at the trial and error. After countless failures, almost researchers in the laboratory have lost patience, their spirit broken, frustration fills every corner of the room. Only one small figure stands before everyone else, boldly but carefully forming different solutions, hoping to recreate what happened to Atlantis reactive as recorded in Omega files. Right, the number of the visual particles detected is normal, which means it's probably the condition for the output not being such a sustained crap, it's still not working. Karina, still look energetic, are we? I'm glad you're used to it. Yeah. It pisses me off every time I see her all energized while I'm dead tired. But I suppose the fool who won't quit is only one who deserves to witness the success of first hand. Teddy dusted off the dirt from her clothes, having been resting on the floor and stretching before standing up and operating on the terminals. Hey, you there! Go get a reading of the pressure inside the vacuum chamber and bring me another metal pipe. I smashed the last one. Ah, the lady there doesn't care you who you are once. She is work mode. That Kurono research takes a lot look like Johan. Although Johan's role as a researcher director is only nominal. The research still technically answered to him. We're all after the same thing here. Do as Karina say. Unlike its mystery and enlightened image, scientists' research are boring and fruitless 80% of the time. Celebrate success are the result of tens of thousands of repeat experiments. Karina's grandfather has been doing all kind of ridiculous experiments since she was young. Occasionally, most of the time, they end up in a failure. But sometimes, very rarely, after an alarming explosion, she would find Carlos covered in snoot, grinning and showing his perfect white teeth, walking out the door with a piece of colon in his hand. The young Karina would carefully hold her grandfather's hand and wipe off the topmost layer of dirt to relieve the glistening diamond hidden inside. Stop, stop! Nobody moves! Having started work again for who knows how long, the researchers are all started by Karina's sudden shout, stopping their work immediately. Karina is staring at the pencil on the desk until it slowly floated in the air. Even with 1/6 of Earth's gravity, a pencil would not even levitate on the lunar surface out of nowhere. Teddy, take this down. This is it. Alright, I'm recording it. What is this, Karina? I hooked up the zero-point reactor with the original engine as its most suspected detective. The point reactor is lunar base was created as power sources for Babylon, driving the space traveling gravity word engine. This engine was designed to zero-point engine and zero-point engine alone. Only. Other engine source wouldn't work, so it would left here with this reactor. But that also mean it'll turn out with a slightly hint of 0 point engine like this. Karenas nodded, motioning Teddy to enter the final command. With a crystal clear ding echoing the laboratory, everyone, everything in the room is suddenly floating in the air as if they are actually in space. D- does does that mean we succeed? Although the engine can only run 50% of what it can theoretically do this way, without a doubt the 0 point reactor has restarted. All the researchers cannot help but cheer, whether they are Kuros or the engineering force. Every, everyone floating is high-fiving and celebrating with the people around. Perhaps only now, laughing freely is absent of gravity. Can these people ignore each other's beliefs and practice to enjoy this technology breakthrough as scientists, researchers? Teddy cannot help but grin, either, but her smile quickly fades as she knows there's the biggest question awaits them after the 7 point of reacting shots. Finally, listen, do I look alright? Should I put something decent? You're fine. Despite Listen's answer, Connor still straightened up his tie and coughed patiently. Colin, the mega, mega, omega, omega, omega omega weapon has been connected to 0 point energy source. Karen is a 0 point reactor running properly. Karin, is a 0 point reactor running properly? Karina watched the Omega weapon glow blue upon receiving 0 point energy. Right now, it's only a standing mode. More proper than any of you? Ha, that's good enough for me. By the way, didn't you refuse to work with us originally? The Cosmic Techno Union might be neutral, but doesn't mean we're planning to work with Kurono. Cosmic Techno Union neutralized the part of why the Parliament has chosen Karina to help Kurono after they agreed to work together. We're helping you retrieve the 0 point reactor only because we need to produce Omega weapon the surface desperately needs right now. Don't overthink it. But hetero creatures and corrupted won't sit and wait for Omega weapon to attack. Humanity needs more decision breakthrough to turn things around. Colin sent a file of Carnate terminals. It is the latest project that Parliament and Kurono have agreed to working on together. A new specialized frame. In that case, the Omega weapon can indeed fully utilize based on the model made from the data of Agenda. Karina glanced at the sleeping Luna, lit by the soft blue light. Luna's youthful face in the furthest thing Karina would associate with what Luna is. An agenda is the highest form ascended. Even though the normal we build from Luna data performed better than regular construction, it couldn't achieve what new specialized frame would require to absorb the punishing virus. Heck, no wonder you gave me that model. You were looking for more data, weren't you? Ha! You You can think what you want. I just want you to understand that even the smallest treasure we take from the treasure trove is enough to make such a impact. Colin gives Karine a pat on her shoulder, relieving his unusual malicious grin. As a researcher yourself, aren't you curious about what other secret hidden in this throne? Colin nodded Yara, and the energy pulsar device connected to Luna begins to work, injecting her with energy. The pale of ascended slowly upon her eyes under everyone's watchful gaze. People have their hands on their weapon. Even knowing that a mega weapon is there, they're still frightened by Luna. Colin looks at Luna, expectantly hoped she will react. But Luna just looked at everyone, calmly and remained silent. Luna, that's your name, isn't it? Do you remember me? I witnessed your birth of the day, transforming from the lowly corrupted to the saintly angelic being you are. I've been hoping to meet you again ever since. Luna still expressionless, but her gaze seemed to have stiffened lightning. You. Are you the one who turned me into corrupted? Of course not. It was unfortunately the accident you got infected, or a necessary sacrifice. Even though Dr. Cameron had greatly increased the success rate of construction technology, it was still in flaws. Necessary sacrifice? Is that so? You think that was an accident, but it doesn't matter anymore. Luna tries to connect the Ascension network to no avail. As she expected, she was probably deemed a threat to the network after her action in City 075. But the punishing virus with her has not overtaken her and turned her into a corrupted, which means she's still an ascended for some reason, which surprised her. Perhaps you're obtained something from me, human, but I'm sorry to tell you that I'm no different to your construction right now. All I have left is the power to draw the punishing virus. Luna raised her bounded right hand slightly. A dark scarlet light flashes in her palm, causing all the soldiers to raise their weapon. There is no punishing virus here. Luna is astounded to find that there is almost no punishing virus in the atmosphere except for what is inside of her. Don't be rash. We're on the moon right now. There's no virus for you. Ascendants to absorb. And if you try to run, the Mega Omega weapon behind you is still active and destroyed all the viruses, and you're in one swoop. I don't plan on running. The person you call Luna is dead. There's no place for me to return to. Luna glanced at the Omega weapon behind her, not showing much interest before closing her eyes again. Humans are already capable of making something like that, but it's pointless. Humanity ends its destiny. At the City 075, Luna chose to pull the Ascension Network, siding with her sister and the human her sister trusted despite being humanity enemy, and now Luna is nowhere to turn as an outcast. But struggling all you want like that person, human. Luna's final words become uncaring, but doesn't sound hostile at all. If anything, there seems to be faintest hint of hope. Oh, Luna. Yaha is adjusting the data on his terminal in dimly lit construction laboratory. Projecting before him in the hollow screen is a white color construction slowly taking shape. Ever since he took the assessment to design the new specialized frame, Johanna has to stay in this room. Even how focused Yara is, the slightest breeze of movement around him, making him double check his surroundings before returning to work. Phew, it's alright. Just dropped a pen. He clearly scratched a clearly scared of the girl in the center of the laboratory, the ascended Luna. Although he doesn't know such ascended, even the mad scientist Coronel considered them to be extremely dangerous. For no particular reason, he recalled the other white construction who started him in past during the first test. Damn it! I really should stay away from anything white next time. His gaze landed on finishing white construction in his terminal. He sighed. I guess I'm leaving Colonel after completely this frame. Hey. Right as Jan is about to dive back into his work, he's startled by a greeting from behind. So much so that it's making toss this terminal away involuntarily. Luckily, the flying terminal gently lands on the ground, and Yahar reminded of the moon low gravity. Seeing this terminal is still intact, Yahar finally has time to check who's greeting him, and finds Karina standing there. Karina, why are you here? Karina picked up the terminal for the Yahan. Oops. Hey, this design for the new specialized frame. Yeah, it's not too different from what we planned. With the data we got from this agenda, the frame can absorb the punishing virus in a large area before eliminated with a mega weapon inside. I thought you people Colonel would have kept the secret. Given the guards that let you in, it means Colin is fine with whatever you do. Seems so. After all, he needs us to maintain this Omega weapon, but there doesn't seem to be a reason to turn it on. Ever since Luna woke up, she has not put up any resistance despite her indifference, providing Yana with the data he needs for a new specialized frame. No. There are still plenty of reasons. Please make sure it works properly, Karina. All his fears is fears of unknown. No one knows when the gentle girl before them will turn into a bloodthirsty monster. Seriously? Why did you take this job if you're so afraid? Because the person using this frame is someone I know. I want to do my absolute best for her, right? You might know her too. Yada opened the list of testers for the new specialized frame. And the first, only person is none other than Liv of the Great Raven. Liv? I thought the Great Raven was still on the surface. Why was she... They are trying to get Liv and her commander back to Babylon's so that they can perform adaptation on her while treating the commander. Liv will need to connect to her commander when she switched the frame. But if she command if she commanded, does she wake up in time? Karina remembers from the previous file without a commander with high adapt adaptation to stable the mind of a new specialized frame. The user of a new specialized frame will suffer from unknown mind illness and die in 3 hours at latest. Liv? Does she knows about that? Yana knows Solomon, answering Karina's question. For the people with her, for entire humankind, she still chose to become this necessary sacrifice. She hasn't changed at all, no hesitation to put others before herself. Yada takes out a small bullet shell from his pocket. Once a symbol of his coward, it's not gives him courage. So I'm going to do my best to help. After all, it's a rare work on something righteousness like this Kurono. Yada scratched his head as he chose his terminal before leaving Karina behind, telling her he needs to submit some report to data analysis. Is that a necessary sacrifice? Karina knows no one wants to sacrifice anyone willingly, but there is no other way. We cannot help it. Humanity is simply facing an impossible choice. If it would not live, it would have been Lucia, Bianca, the Great Raven Commander, even Karenina herself. Still, Karenina cannot help but think that this sacrifice is her fault, or the fault of the entire humankind. They were weak. They have been weak, so they need to sacrifice someone in exchange for hope. Human always been like this. There never been progress without sacrifice. Karenina almost forget that there is still a fighting presence in this laboratory. She looked up at speakingly Luna. In enveloped in dim blue light, the girl in white looked in real. Countless humans standing at the crossroad of choice. Sacrifice is a fatal few, surviving due to science built upon absolutely rational. You are also one of those few sacrificed in the same name of science, aren't you? Karina remembered what Kali said. Luna was only became corrupted because the construction technology back then was flawed, and Karina's grandfather was the one responsible for the theories on construction tech. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Look what the man said. I was simply unfortunate. Perhaps Luna doesn't care about what will happen to her anymore, be it an unjust fate or consequence of her action. Luna cannot go back and choose another path. But what does that mean to you? The succession of absolute rationality is now in the palm of your hand. Can it bring a hope without requiring sacrifice? When Karina was very young, living a slumber hurry and death stained in the air, she also tried to be well mannered, child, and fit in with others. No matter how she tried, however, it always ends up in a fight. Karina used to wonder how about the similarity between her and science, if its development and her consist brawling were simply a curse of destruction, destroying nature, the earth, eventually themselves. Karine, look! Karine, look! It's full moon tonight. It's been exactly 29 days and 12 hours since the last one. No, it's 29 days, 12 hours and 43 minutes. You got so mad when I didn't remember the exact time, Grandpa. Is it? I've forgotten, but it's no matter. Karina can remember what I forgot, can't you? Right, let me tell you about the story of the moon before I forgot. Once there was a bunch of happy rabbits. Grandpa, why aren't you mad? I have to fight with someone again today. Is fighting other people's fun for you, Karine? Fighting? It hurts when I got hit. And my first, my fist hurts when I punch. But I can't hold back even knowing that. They say I only know how to fight and destroy. I'm just mad as you are. How boring. Let's look at the moon instead. That's way more interesting. Alright, pop quiz. Do you know how the moon was formed, Karine? The moon wasn't always there? Of course not. Once upon a time, a giant meteor clashed with an earth. Poof! The massive chunk of earth got separated before it becomes the moon. So the land we're standing on was once connected to the moon upon there. Oh, look at the grandpas. Cute. Look at Karina. Ha! You got that right. There would be no moon without destruction. Isn't that something? So destruction itself is an inherent aspect thing, you see. And it's not just the moon. The theory says the universe was just a lifeless singularity before it exploded and created everything beautiful. So the greatest power of all is actually exploded. Oh, I see. Alright, on to the next question. Hold on, Grabs. I'm not ready. Scientists discover always accompanying uncertainties, perhaps like the development of zero-point energy. They will bring about endless disaster and create many necessary sacrifices like you. Karina smells and meet Luna's gaze. Perhaps we aren't strong enough yet, and our best researchers are naive as the children who are wondering about the moon. But the knowledge we assume is not for nothing. One day we will transfer scientists, instructed to power into new hope. Luna cannot help but smile, but this is the first time she feels human to Karina, unwilling to give up hope, as stubborn as my sister. Lucia and others are still fighting on the surface. I'm not going to lose to them. The warrior battle is coming to end, but the engineer fight is just about to start. Who can it doubt the time to come when the true history of my famous deed comes to light? The wise man who compliments them when he begins to recount my first sally so early in the day will write in this manner. No sooner has repugnant Apollo spread over the face of the wide auspicious earth of golden strain of his bright beauteous hair. No sooner has dimsel and brighter hoop birds with duelist tongue greeting his sweet mellifluent harmony and the adverse of rose. God damn mouth-wording here. Who forsaken the soft couch of her zealous consort relieved herself to mortal through the door of balcony of the mansion horizon than the famous night. Flipping the page, he finds the rest of the note blank. The rough pencil marks coming to end. The fate of notebook's owner is unknowing, much like the rest of the story transcript. Rail turned around, looking at the scroll earth behind him. Perhaps a group of hundred. Hair creature for some powerful crop to sweep across this crimson land, destroyed everything but his small notebooks. Finding a burnt tree trunk, Ronald sit down and tear off the piece of blank paper from the book. After some thoughts, he quietly placed a small object above the paper before it's folded. A girl walked out of shadow, curious how Ronald kept folding paper in his hand. What are you doing? What are you doing? Ronald smiles and gives the paper one final press before standing up on a burned branch in front of him. It is an origami rabbit. Can't you tell? It's a rabbit. Do you know what rabbit is? Cinderella looks like a paper bunny and frowned. I know what it is, but this rabbit, I think I did a pretty good job. It's a small white with big ears, long ears, no, big eyes with long ears. Isn't it adorable? Adorable? How can a creature so weak adorable? I don't understand why you made it. Ronald stand on this tree trunk and stretched. Maybe I was born. Cinderella has no idea what the man before her thinking, but she does not need to know it was Mystery's idea to keep him with them. The Mysteries is never wrong. Mister, look at you. Come on. He told me it's your reward. Ronald gaze shifted just a little bit. His expression reminds the same as he performing the role he always been playing with ease. Someone who thought is insecure. Oh, well then, I should probably go and claim it quickly. Following Cinderella, Ronald takes one last look at the origami paper on the branch before he departs his wasteland, and he distracts his mocking smile. I'm counting on you, Lady the White Rabbit. Mister, I brought him here. The man facing away from Cindric is looking at the night sky, seeming deep in thought, hearing her nod and turning round. Hello, Mr. Vonnegut. It seems like you haven't forgot our deal. Of course, a fire exchange is key to any partnership. Your work has earned your reward. Ronald smiled and gave Vonnegut a gentleman bow. Don't mention it. It was what I did best. Still, I can't help but wonder about your two just getting right. I drew high on them. It took so much effort, but Falcon's new weapons seem to have kept them at bay. That is arguably the best answer human can come up with given how desperately they are. After all, they do possess an ace up their sleeve. Volkert looks at Ronald, awaits his reaction. Ha! So they do have Luna with them. That would explain why they didn't kill her. A secret one can learn from the gender of two valuable. But they certainly haven't learned all of them, otherwise they wouldn't have created the imperfect constructions. But the more they learn, the closer they are to they Currently locked inside Babylon's lunar base, it was once research center of Babylon's main engine. And now people have betrayed restart the 0-point reactor there, using it to create a mega weapon that's leading to punishing virus. Ross rubbed his chin and glanced towards him on the side and smiled, having come up with this idea. I don't know how you found out this information. I have no proof to it if you say Luna was under Marin Trench. I wouldn't able to go there either, isn't that right? Mr. won't lie to you. If he says she's on the moon, then Luna is on the moon. As how you get there? Sentiment took a look at Bona Volgut, and he nods in return. Ooh, too. Maybe you should explain. Right. He says that a large shadow struck 3 of them above their heads. A figure who eventually leads into transcendent Voodoo. Loki found a bandit city 20 kilometers to the east, where quite many Babylon soldiers were gathered. After catching a soldier to investigate, to play with him until he spilled his secrets, then blood. Walter's voice suddenly became metallic and sharp. There seems to be some form of personality breakdown due to the mind defect of humanoid hybrid construction. President put the space shuttles under the ruined city. Those people that are trying to board it to return Babylon, I believe their models are capable of traveling to the moon. I see. If we get to the ship first, we can easily go to Jolly right to the moon. We'll not go turn back towards Ronald. Ronald cannot tell how Walnut feels underneath his mask. Luna is currently blocked by Ascension Network. She has lost the power of agenda, but not her stated as one. It's most particularly. Her survive has certainly given him an opportunity to cheat, which would hinder the Ascension Network. That is why I want to rescue Luna from the humans. And if she can't be saved, Golden knows at signaling her to take out the field disease. Luna cannot be allowed to exist. Not her body, not her mind, not even idea of her. Ronald takes the seas and open it. Inside he finds a turd that is filled with crimson liquid, with which submerged a silent of constantly mutual pale flesh. This is remain of stem cells of parent hive mother. Birth the twins. It can grow infinitely but devour all kind of matters and energy. Unexpectedly byproduct, I'll say it's not very intelligent, but it can tell friends from foes when controlled, and that's good enough. You want me to use this thing to remove Luna? You're correct. When you believe you cannot save her, or cannot The white origami rabbit stands out its tongue, charity surrounded, and Hanley gently lifts, carefully unfolded, relieving the microscope vessel of encrypted message inside the paper. Is that Alpha? The message quickly read through the vessel is then gently crushed by the hand and become one of the ashes on the ground. She glares in the direction where the somehow fresh footprints disappear before making her east station. Meanwhile, unfolded origami is placed back into the branch. The form once again a rabbit. But perhaps the fold will never look as they once were. Okay, let's start doing this. Hey, are you sure this is the way? And why aren't you flying me there if you have wings? Rana slows down and sighs, complaining intentionally. He has to figure out ways to stall and get rid of the women before him. Fine by him, as long as you're not worried about falling from skies and turning into piece of junk. Come on, I'm your comrade. I'm not. Is that how you treat your comrade? How concerning. Boy, you're not one of us. You stay around, mister, because of your own agenda. We'll never consider you as our comrade. Why do you insist on finding that agent? She has lost all her powers. She should be worth nothing to you. Rana smiled from voodoo. Interprobes. He's sure that this woman is here to keep an eye on him instead of accompanying him. Her acting still has a long way to go. Luna lost her power, but not her status as an agent, which means Ascendant hasn't completely rejected her. If I can find her, perhaps I can find a way to obtain this status from her. And there it is. The perfect lie is always an ounce of falsehood enshrouded in the truth. Now he just needs to find out if Woohoo will convince. You, madness, more so than us. Is that now? At least I think it's decent goal to aim for. Otherwise, what fun there is to stay alive? Woohoo suddenly stopped and Roland also paused. Did she find it? Did she find out? No. We're here. It's underneath this ruin. Ronald observed the surrounding quietly. Nothing's out of ordinary. That said, there were plenty of opportunity on their ways here for Voodoo to strike, and had she wanted. Fine. What a terrible journey that has been. We should be here sooner, but you've been not complaining. Ronald shrugs dramatically before following Voodoo into ruins. Identify Vader. Damn extension. What are you doing here? But boring cliche. Didn't come from me. Yeah, unfortunately, this is my finest best.
痛いな。観客の皆様がじっと見てるよ。観客の皆様、今だ。クライマックス。痛いな。どこへ逃げるつもり？痛いな。もう少し痛そうに表現すべきかな。どこへ逃げるつもり？今だ。クライマックス。観客のもう少し痛そうに表現すべきかな。痛いな。どこへ逃げる？今だ。クライマックス。どこへ逃げるつもり？もう少し痛そうに表現すべきかな。これで終幕。この茶番劇楽しめた？
metallic object bursts through the dark clouds, ascending at incredible speed. On its shells is a symbol of proclaim its spaceships from Babylon. But there's no sailors manage the ship at the moment, as long postro Polstrin, captain standing its bow, confronting the hostile wind until the ship escapes the chain. Wasn't expecting to actually start the ship its own. I guess the pilot skills I learned from my character back then I haven't been completely forgotten. Was that Vincent or was it a dragonfly? It's been too long. My memory ain't reliable as they were. Arnold keeps trying to remember, yet all he can recall is that he was not picked as the main character. He might have been a talented child actor, but never could be the lead. Maybe he still cannot be. No one considers him someone worth paying attention to. But why should he care? Even without script or rehearsal, the moment the actor steps into stage, he must embody his role. If I'm playing with the brave knight saving the diminished stretch today, I suppose this spaceship can be my steed. Not too shabby, I'll say. Ronald takes out a container's arm and hold up, watching how flesh preserved in the liquid keeps shifting its form. Unfortunately, they cast me in a horror story instead of the fairy tale today. I'm a snake that feeds the princess poison apple. No matter what gender we're doing, now the story beats when someone comes and stops, isn't it? As if responsive to Roswell, the hull of the spaceship widened, and the alarms of its defenses rose up in every corner of the ship. Alright, the more it likes. An emergency liftoff. The sudden appears a monstrous creature, a side character left alone. There is nothing better than a pilot of solid B movie. Who knows where Ronald was hiding this chain blade and shotgun? He drew his weapon and perhaps stands, ready to face the rapidly descending hero. That said, I don't think he's sticking to the plot, regardless of this, he does. Oh no.
道具をどう使うのか見せてもらおう。観客の皆様がじっと見てるよ。真の叫びをもっと聞かせてよ。痛いな。観客の皆さん、今だ。クライマックス。叫びをもっと聞かせてよ。痛いな。真の叫びをもっと今だ。クライマックス。 痛いな。どこへ逃げるつもり？どこへ逃げ、今だ。クライマックス。もう少し痛そうに表現すべきかな。どこへ逃げるつもり？真の叫びをもっと聞かせてよ。
What the heck?
.これで終幕。この茶番劇楽しめた？
Oh, I hate pressing this. As soon as I remain, the hetero creatures are completely devoured by the monsters. Contained without leaving a trace of punishing virus behind. That was thorough. Ronald juggled the container's hands. The flesh inside does not look any different, even devouring all the hetero creatures. Ha! Were there not enough for you? Remain of hetero creatures stopped pursuing. Their flight capacity seems to reach their limits, but their behaving suggests they were actually afraid of one of the cable monsters Ronald's had. Not only do they look like living organisms, but they also even prioritize survivability, aren't they? It is a creature's instincts to fear death and aim to survive. But the more humanity rationale development, the more human can control this primal instinct. This is why everyone's looking for the reason to live. He once believed the life and dead are just if there is no defined answers. Simply dying is enough to be beautiful curtains call. The ship begins to accelerate after disposing the hetero creature. Anna looked up the moon in the distance. Will they answer me there? Standing with a girl with white hair in this reason to live. Also, he has presumptuous decide. As long as she chose to keep going, he will do anything to help her without a second thought. But even if she's an agent, has she lost her reason to live? Is Luna's worth saving? This is the question Horburn has left him. Honor to take out Alpha's giving, and stories divide as thin and light as chip. Nearly crumbled into dust with the gentlest force. He had a brother too, but that yearning was a man's made. Not even the wits could tell if his feeling was genius. Up until the last moment, he could not forget this character that only exists in script. Ronald retrieved his self-deprecation smile. Sitting right there on the bow, in his left hand, the storage device from Alpha is in the right hand in the container, with stream so vulgar. But no matter what we do, we're just a side character. Luna, only you can save yourself. Will it be a death or will it be life? Alright, I'm gonna leave it here. That was interesting. Let's continue in the next stream. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next stream. Yeah, okay. It was fun. So yeah, I'll see you in the next stream. Bye guys!